He is the one who discovered Tamla laying in the backyard, face down. Hey family, and welcome back to another episode on our true crime series. We do apologize for such a late upload, you guys. We are just now getting over the flu. It really hit our whole family, so we're back and we're better. This story, you guys, when I heard it, I just knew I had to bring it to you guys. And I'm sure you've heard it or heard about it before. If you haven't, I'm gonna let you guys in on everything that I found out. So the story today is about Tamla Horsford, who was a 40-year-old woman. She was born in the Caribbean. She later moved to the Bronx with her family at the age of 11. And then as she got older, she moved to Florida, where she met her husband, Leander, also known as Lee. Lee had a daughter from a previous relationship, which Tamla took on as her own. Even though that wasn't blood, she raised her like her own, and his daughter even called Tamla mom. That's how close they were. They went on to move to Cummins, Georgia, for a job opportunity that Lee had. And they also had 5 other boys, so they had 6 children total. um Tamla was basically the life of the party. Like, she was so loving, she was so charismatic. She did meet a stranger, so she was willing to make a lot of friends. She was a stay-at-home mom, so she didn't really know, too many people in Cummings. So she wanted to make new friends. She wanted to get out there, so she can have that connection with people. So a few of the ladies that she ended up meeting was at her son's football game. She was really big in her children's extracurriculars. So she met a few ladies at the football games and they bonded. One lady in particular that she met, name was John. And they hung at the football game. So she went to John's house once outside, from football. But other than that, that's how they connected. Um, on this one particular occasion, John decided to have a sleepover. It was her birthday, as well as the LSU versus Alabama game, which was really, really big in their town. So she decided, she wanted to do the sleepover, basically, adult sleepover, where they dress up in pajamas and, they have alcohol and food and all that good jazz. She wanted it to be a sleepover because she knew they would have alcohol and stuff, and she didn't want, the ladies to drive home. Now, in all, it was a total of 10 ladies. And I'm gonna tell you guys their names. Their names are Madeline, Nicole, Marcy, Bridget, Sarah, Paula, Tamla, of course, John, of course, and Stacy. I want to give you guys a little background on Cummins, Georgia. Even dating back to 1912, it is a very racist town. Even back then, a man named Rob Edwards was lynched because allegedly he had raped a white woman. And even though they had no evidence, it is believed that he was solely convicted because he was the closest black man to the scene. Which is crazy. In Cummins, it is known to be, even still today, the greatest racial cleansing of, ever. Where the population basically went from 1,098 people to less than 5 in a 2-year span.
Less than 5.
Less than 5. And I want to say that black people still, as of 2020, only made up 4% of their population.
Won't be going there.
So it's still, a pretty racist town. So when it comes down to the sleepover, you guys, I feel like it's very relevant to mention that Tamla was the only black woman there. The other 9 women were white. And yeah, so at the sleepover was supposed to start around 7 o'clock. Tamla knew she would be a little late, so she texted John and Paula and let them know, or I'm sorry, not John and Paula, John and Stacy, to let them know she was going to be running a little bit behind. Some of the ladies, they got dropped off because they knew they would be drinking and they didn't want them driving home, under the influence. And so they got dropped off, and their husbands was going to come back and pick them up. Some ladies decided not to stay. They just wanted to come, for the festivities and celebrate John's for her birthday. But Tamla decided to go ahead and drive. Now, like I said, Tamla is from the Caribbean, so she grew up drinking. So she decided to bring tequila as a gift to John, which all the ladies turned down. John even mentioned how she kind of threw up in her mouth a little bit, because she didn't like tequila. So Tamala basically ended up drinking the tequila by herself because everybody, didn't want basically turned it down. They didn't want the tequila. It is said that some of the ladies were smoking. One lady in particular, Jennifer, she was the first one, basically drunk. She couldn't handle her liquor really, very well. And so they noticed that from the very beginning. She was the first one that was, feeling it. You will insert clips and pictures of the ladies. You can tell they were, having a good time. And Tamla really was going around taking pictures of everybody. You could tell she was the life of the party. As time went on, it was only supposed to be the ladies there. But in comes two men, Jose Barrera, which was John's boyfriend, and Tom Smith, which was Stacy's husband. Now, they knew it was a, all-girl sleepover, so they was like, hey, do you mind if we stay? We'll go down in the basement. We won't bother you guys. You won't even know we were here.
Those two were originally supposed to go out and hang out together. And then I forget which. One of them was having stomach issues. So they said, do you mind if we just watch the game in the basement? We'll stay away from y'all because I have a theater room down there.
So Stacy and John decided to, let them stay. But at one point, they did come up to eat with the ladies. And so even, hearing that, you guys, me personally, if I go to a sleepover and I know it's supposed to be all women and men come, I'm not gonna stay. Like, I'm gonna, enjoy the party and I'm gonna celebrate, whoever's birthday it is or whoever the party is for. But as far as staying the night, I would feel uncomfortable with staying the night.
They shouldn't.
But that's not for That's not for everybody. Some people, might feel okay about it.
Yeah, but if it's an all-girl affair, like, I'm not going to an all-girl affair. I mean, not to go in the basement, not to watch a football game. Because I'm already aware that no men is supposed to be here.
Right.
So I find that suspicious that they showed up.
Too.
And then they say, we'll go in the basement. You won't even know we're here, but they come up and eat with the ladies.
Right.
That shouldn't have been allowed. But
I mean, they probably wasn't thinking anything of it at the time.
I'm sure they were.
It's said that Jose had a stomach ache. He really wasn't feeling well, and that's why he came. And then Stacy's husband's sister was having a baby shower at his house, and he didn't want to, interrupt them, so he decided to join Jose. As the night went on, they're having fun, they're drinking, they're smoking. Tamla smoked cigarettes, so she would go outside to smoke, but she was never by herself. One of the ladies would go with her. One in particular went outside, and she really bonded with Tamla because they had a son. Both of them had a son named Gavin, and both of them was Libra, so they really bonded, over that and started the conversation or whatever. So she never went outside to smoke alone.
Do you remember her going out on the deck at any time to smoke cigarettes?
Yeah, that's when I sat down and talked. Like, I had just met her, but early in the night, we went out on the deck for probably about 10-15 minutes.
Okay.
And we were just talking and everything because her son's name is Gavin. My son's name was Gavin.
Okay.
So just talking about silly stuff like that. And she's a Libra. I'm a Libra. So we thought it was cool. And then we went inside and she kind of wandered off and with the other girls and just started mingling with all the girls.
Right.
When it was time to wind everything down, they played a game before everybody started going to sleep. One thing that I found super suspicious was they were buddying to go to sleep, right? So everybody had a buddy. and nobody told Tamla apparently about this. So she was really sad that she didn't have, a buddy to sleep with. So at one point, she even wanted to go home, but a few of the ladies convinced her to stay because they didn't want her to drive under the influence, which is understandable. I would, try to convince whoever to stay as well. You've been drinking, just stay here, sleep it off. You initially came to stay anyway. So they convinced her to stay. And when she figured out the buddy little situation, that did make her feel a certain type of way. I mean, that's totally understandable. Like, yeah.
I feel left out.
For sure. So one of the ladies, Stacy in particular, mentioned, okay, well, I'll leave my phone down here. Our phones can be sleeping buddies, whatever that means. Like,
that's weird.
That's definitely weird. But she ended up leaving her phone down.
I left my phone downstairs, and because she said Tom was selfish because she didn't have a sleeping buddy.
Right.
So we put our phones there. She said, "Well, our phones can sleep together." So we laughed and hugged, and she said she was going to smoke, and I went to bed.
Around 1 or 1:30, one of the ladies decided not to stay. She just mentioned that she got really bad anxiety when it came to staying at other people's house. She felt like she would have to sleep with one eye open. So she decided, at this point that she would go home. So she called her husband, and her and Tamla stayed up until her husband came to pick her up. It's also said that around 1:30 that Jose forgot his phone charger downstairs. So he came, went back downstairs to get his charger and noticed Tamla in the kitchen eating gumbo.
I went down to the basement to grab my phone charger that I left in the theater room, and the staircases kind of are obviously right underneath each other, going from basement to upstairs. So, I mean, I didn't really look at who was still up. I mean, I came up in the basement, shut the door, saw Tamla in the kitchen, just glancing over and saw that she was there.
Who was she with?
I just saw her by herself, but
Okay.
From that, I guess that vantage point from coming up from the basement, I mean, there is that wall there, so I just kind of saw her through here, kind of up where the stove would be, but I can't see anything back in the kitchen, and then I just went upstairs.
It is said that he was the last one to see Tamla that night. It shows that John had security cameras in her home. So every time the door was open, the front door, the back door was open and closed, it will time it and it will send a message to John's phone. So it shows at different times where Tamla went outside to smoke a cigarette at 1:47 and came back in. The door opened and closed at 1:47. It shows the door opening at 1:50 and closing, corresponding to that time that it will take for her to smoke a cigarette and come back in. It also shows at one point that the door opened and it never closed again, which was super creepy. So there was also a timeline that I want to, give to you guys when they were getting ready to leave. So the next morning, everybody's getting up, getting ready to leave. So around 1:47, that's when the friend that was up with Tamla husband decided to come get her. That was 1:47 in the morning. At 1:49, the door opened. At 1:50, it closed, which corresponds to Tamla going out to smoke. At 4:10, Marcy left, right? So Marcy said that she set an alarm for that early so she can go home because there was a second day on her job. And she wanted to go home and be able to, shower and get ready for her job. But I find it so suspicious because she didn't have to go to work till 10:30. So
that's half
you getting
the time.
up that early.
That's 6 hours before.
To leave. I don't know. You maybe had, a whole routine you had to go through. I don't know.
But that's suspicious.
That's definitely suspicious to me. So Marcy left at 4:10. Around 7:30, that's when Paula left. Around 8 or 8:30, that's when Stacy and Tom decided to leave. Also, around that same time, Madeline was getting up. She decided to do her morning routine where she made coffee and something told her to just go look out the window. So she walked to the window to look out the window, and she is the one who discovered Tamla laying in the backyard, face down. The first thing she decided to do was get down on her knees and pray. Which my thing is, baby, pray. But in a situation like that, I find it kind of weird that the first thing you decided to do was get down on your knees and pray and not go outside and see what was going on.
I went get the coffee maker started, and I went stand by the window, and I was just staring out the window, and I saw those Dalmatian pajamas tan. But I couldn't remember her name.
Right.
Because that was the first time I'd met her.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't start the coffee. I got on my knees and I said a prayer.
Yeah, that's weird.
Or not to notify somebody else
Because
and see what was going on.
yeah, that's
You know, you see her outside laying face down.
because my thing is, the first thing I'm thinking when I see her laying face down, I'm going to check on her because it may not be a situation where I need to pray. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we know what happened.
Regardless, I'm going to pray the whole time.
Right.
Like, I'm going to pray the whole time in the midst of it. But
That's
when
weird.
that panic set in, you want to, assess the situation and see what was going on.
I'm trying to get to her as fast as I can so
Right.
I can help,
Right.
If it's a situation where I need to perform CPR, I want to be there fast enough to be able to do that.
Right.
It'll be a time to pray, but at the end of the day, I can't make decisions for her, so she
Right.
thought she needed to pray first, and that's what she did.
That's what she did. She got on her knees and prayed, and then she proceeded to go upstairs to get Jose and John. Now, the crazy thing about it is when she goes in there, she knocks on the door, they tell her to come on in. When she goes in, she just wants to talk to Jose. Now, Jose was a pre-trial officer or whatever, and so she only wanted to talk to Jose, which I found weird. Like, why do you only want to talk to Jose?
I want anybody who
when
can
this
help
is
me
not
check on
even
this young lady.
not Jose's friend. I would think you would want John. Like, hey, your friend. Did you know?
Mm-hmm.
What was going on? But she only wanted to talk to Jose, which
that would kind of fit the description that we know what's going on.
right. Like, I would instantly, my red flags would instantly go up. Like, why do you just want to talk to my boyfriend about a situation like this? That's super weird. But eventually she disclosed what was going on, and she said, John, your friend from the Caribbean, like you didn't know her name, was out laying in the yard face down. So that's how she tells them what she's seen. So they eventually, come down to see Tamla's body laying in the yard. They eventually call 911 out. Everybody is saying they seen Tamla's body. Everybody that was still there, they said it's burnt in their mind. They say she was literally face down. Her head wasn't turned to the left or the right. Her arms were straight out to her side. Her legs were straight. Everybody there agreed that that's how she was.
She was face down, but like her arms were down, like she just face planted is the best way I can describe it.
So her arms were like by her side?
Yeah, they were by her side, palms up.
But when the police got there, it is said, on the pictures, her arm was bent up and away from her body. I don't know if they moved her or what went on. It is also said that John found a cigarette outside in the yard and a lighter, and he decided to pick it up and move it. It's just super weird. He said he has OCD and he just does things like that. They came to the conclusion really quick that she just had to fall off the balcony to her death, basically, a slip and fall.
Forsyth County 911.
Hi, yes. I need an ambulance and a police to my home. My name is John Myers, Jeanne.
Okay, what's going on?
We had people over last night. We were drinking. Most of us went to bed. One of them stayed on the balcony. She was drinking, and we just went outside, and she's laying face down in the backyard. I'm guessing maybe she fell off the balcony.
Okay, is she breathing?
I don't know if she's face down.
Okay, How old is she?
41. Here, hold on.
Hey, this is Jose Barrera.
Hey, have y'all checked to see if she's breathing?
She's not moving one bit. She's not breathing.
Okay.
I just try to assess her, touch her. She's completely face down in the yard.
Do you see any blood or anything to where, from where she fell?
I don't know if I should move her over. I mean, she's completely face down.
Okay. I mean, can you just check and see if she's breathing? If she's not breathing and you know she's gone, then just leave her where she's at. If she, okay.
I'm completely not sure.
Do you know if she was suicidal at all?
I have no clue. I've met her one other time. You know, like my girlfriend said, people were over last night. She was the last one I saw before everybody. I mean, everybody was typically put off to bed. And she was the last one in the kitchen. She was just either waiting around for a ride or waiting until the morning.
Okay. How far is the where she would have fell from? How far is the deck from the ground?
I would probably say maybe 20 feet.
Okay.
You know, 20 feet from where your feet would be on the railing. The railing itself is maybe 3.5, 4 feet.
The balcony from the ground was like 14 feet. So I just feel like the way she was laying, like face down, arms straight back, legs straight, I feel like she was placed there.
Because if you're falling off a balcony, you're going to brace.
I feel like you're going to try to brace yourself or catch on to something. Like you're not going to fall face down with your arms and legs straight like that.
Literally face planted, not to the side, anything like that. Like my nose, everything. I'm straight down as if I was placed here stiff, pretty much.
John mentioned that, Jose mentioned that they did have cameras, right? Mm-hmm. But when it came down to showing the footage, they said the battery was dead, so they didn't have any footage. It was a rechargeable camera, and that it was dead. It's just so much, y'all.
It's a lot of missing information.
Right. It's so many loopholes. One of the ladies went and got gift cards for the officers from Dunkin' Donuts. One of the ladies said they made the officers cookies. Like,
get out of my head.
Look, and I just went and got y'all gift cards.
Oh, were they going to bring them
so
on?
nice.
I told them I just made them cookies.
But then I was told I shouldn't because then it could look bad if I give you something before the case is closed.
Oh, well, you better wait.
So, and it's very stereotypical because I figure all cops go to Dunkin' Donuts, right?
You may have something.
I just feel like y'all aren't taking this like serious. Like a woman is dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And y'all are going out to get gift cards. Like, what are we celebrating? That's what threw me for, you know.
It fits the description. It definitely, I mean, I don't know, but it definitely fits the description that the police was in on it. And because for everyone to say her body was laying one way, and when the police get there, the police described that her arms was bent as if she tried to brace herself for her fall and tried to pretty much stage her body to make it look like what she tried to fall, and this how she should be, versus what everybody said she was laying there just stiff, straight down, arms was down to her side as if she was just peacefully laying there.
And the ladies also said that they never went out on the balcony. Nobody went to the balcony. They actually went one time to try to light the fire pit that they had out there, but they couldn't figure out how to light it, so they all came back in. So nobody went back out there. So why would she be out there by herself?
And they had already said that she never went out by herself. She always went with a friend to smoke.
With somebody. Right, which is that's super weird.
It's a lot of hoes in this one.
Super, super weird. Now, when they went to notify the husband, a few officers went and it said that they asked him, they were constantly asking him, are you Lee? Are you Lee? Are you Lee? And he wanted to know what the situation was about. Like, okay, you know, what is this about? And they're saying, are you Lee? And he's asking them, okay, what is this about?
And he said that was very rude.
Definitely.
Like
he was like, they were, you know, from the get-go, they were super
he was met with rudeness.
Rude. When it came down to it, he was like, no, I'm not Lee, I'm Leander. Now, what is this about? And they were so nasty, but they were like, it's about your wife, she's deceased. But they said it so nasty, like, no compassion, no nothing.
I finish using the restroom, go downstairs, answer the door, and the cop says, "Is your name Lee?" And I said, "And what's this pertaining to?" And he said, "Is your name Lee?" And I said, "I'm going to ask you once again, what is this pertaining to?" He said, "Is your name Lee?" And I said, "Actually, no, it's not. It's Leander. But once again, what is this pertaining to?" And he said, "Well, your wife is deceased." So he said, "It's about your wife. She's deceased." That was his exact words. "It's about your wife. She's deceased." And I said, "What?" I said, No.
And so when they were explaining what went on, he was like, no. Like, I know that's not my wife. Like, we grew up in the Caribbean. We grew up drinking. Like, I've literally watched my wife drink half a bottle of tequila and salsa in heels. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm thinking you're going to tell me, you know, she got into a car wreck or something like that. But you're telling me she tripped and fell? Like, no, that's not my wife. So he automatically knew something wasn't right.
I said, "Where's she at?" And I went to go get my clothes and all this stuff because I was thinking this is horseshit. I was thinking she got into a car accident or something like that. Somebody hit her or something like that. And they're like, "Oh no, it was an accident," and this and that. And I was, "Oh, you can't go over there. Everything's been taken care of already. No, we don't want you going over there, this and that." And so I was sitting on the front porch with them, and they're like, "Well, it seems that there was an accident. It seems she tripped over something and fell in the grass and this and that." And I'm like, "My wife tripping over something and falling in the grass? I've seen this girl drink half a bottle of tequila and dance salsa in 6-inch heels. That's don't make no sense."
He was trying to get his clothes, you know, and go to where she was, but they were like, no, you know, we done already assessed everything. You can't go over there, you know, anything like that. So they didn't allow him to go over there. Now, when it came down to the funeral, he said that when he went to view her body, you guys, that they literally, it was like they had shoe polish on her. Now, Tamla was a light-skinned woman, you know, and he literally said the makeup that they used made her look like she was black-faced.
Yeah, he literally said it looked like black shoe polish, and he told
on
him
her,
to get that off his
like
wife.
Black shoe polish.
That's crazy.
On her. And he was like, he probably scared everybody in the funeral home, but he was like, fuck no, like, get this off my wife.
Mm-hmm. The thing is that a lot of people don't know the extent of the injuries, but I know them because, and this is going to shock some people, but when I went into the funeral home, I probably scared the shit out of everybody because I yelled, "What the fuck?" as loud as I could. I walked in and I saw my wife look like she had shoe polish on her face, black shoe polish all over her face. And I flipped out and I was like, nope. And I walked out and I told them, "Take that off of my wife. Take all that." "Well, sir, I'm sorry, but we had to cover up the bruising and this and that." And I don't cover up the bruise. You don't cover up the bruising with black shoe polish. My wife is my color, you know, but yet her skin was this color, like blackface.
And they were saying, well, you know, we have to cover up the bruises and stuff like that. That's not how you cover up bruises.
I've never worked in a funeral home, but I'm sure they shouldn't be covering bruises with black black shoe polish. Yeah, and they also said that the autopsy report, the scene when they processed it, like everyone knows, like if you've watched First 48, if you've watched any real deal murder TV shows, you know that if you're dealing with a dead body and the body is pretty much DOA, if they dead on arrival, you have to process the scene.
Right.
And processing the scene as an investigation officer, you taking a lot of pictures of the raw, you know what I'm saying, the scene. You have to document and take pictures of the dead body. And for some reason, like, this is what's required. Like, this is part of the work as an investigator on the scene of a murder. Yeah. And they said it was no pictures taken. Like, that's suspicious when that's a part of the work that should be done. There was no pictures taken of her body laying out here where they found her supposedly dead, face first. So that's very suspicious.
It was very minimal. Like, everything was very minimal. Like,
the autopsy report, I believe they said she had they said she died from blunt force trauma. So they said that was kind of consistent with a fall from the balcony, but they said she had lacerations in her face. She had lacerations
on her forehead, on her nose, on her wrist.
Like, all that is suspicious.
Definitely. She had Xanax that hadn't metabolized in her liver yet.
Which means she had just took them.
Right. Prior to her dying. And according to her husband, she didn't have a prescription for Xanax, and they were trying to figure out where it came from. One of the ladies did get caught up in a lie, because when the officer questioned her about consuming any drugs such as Xanax, she denied it, and the officer proceeded to tell her, well, what if I tell you I have evidence of you texting another friend that was at the party, asking her for the drugs, if she was going to meet you for the drugs. And then she went on to say, well, I'm not going to say that I didn't, but I don't remember.
Did Bridget give you anything the morning Tam died while you were back at the house, and then meet you later that night to give you anything?
No, I don't recall. I do not recall at all.
Okay, so you'd be surprised to know that there was a text on your phone to her asking her to meet you to give you some more of her medicine because it helped you that morning?
Okay, well, maybe. I'm not going to say I didn't.
Okay.
So.
That's fine. You just don't, but you don't remember it.
No, I don't.
It's just a lot of, this makes me so sad.
It's a tough one.
It makes me so sad. When I heard this story, I was just like...
Because her kids had to deal with this, and her husband got to deal with this, and they moved here for a job opportunity, not knowing it's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
This, still to this day, is like one of the most racist towns ever. Like, all this is not a coincidence.
If y'all have heard of this story, comment down below and let us know what you think happened to Tamla. I definitely think it was foul play. I definitely think, something went on. I also was listening to another podcast, and the neighbor was on there, and she was basically saying how she feel like it was foul play, that they were really weird, Jose and John, like, were really weird. They had weird vibes, and something is just telling her that they, possibly did something to her, and that her crying in the backyard was such an act. It was just, she just felt like, they did something too, and they were all trying to cover it up. And then she went on to say that all of them was at John's house for like 2 weeks, every night for like 2 weeks after the death.
After the death.
Yep.
Like, this our gathering spot.
Yep. Like, we need to get it together and keep it together.
She was, like we called her the neighborhood gossiper. She was just, it was just very, the whole thing was just very strange. And to be truthful, when I watched when the whole thing, I mean, it was right there. I mean, we woke up, and my husband and I woke up in the morning and we went, oh my God, what the heck is going on? But then when the officer came out and said, I heard everything they said. They said it was a terrible accident, and then she just fell to the ground sobbing, and I thought to myself, that's such an act. You know what, I'm sorry to say this, but that's how I feel. I really feel that something bad went on there.
Do you remember her name?
No. I mean, they've been gone, 2 years now, maybe?
Oh, it happened a year and a half ago.
A year and a half, yeah, that's right. It's November 4th. I remember the day. Because I know it was the Alabama game that was going on that day. But,
now, when did you move in here?
6 years ago.
Do you remember the approximate date?
Yeah, March 14th, 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, we built this house new. So yeah.
Okay.
This was the last house in the neighborhood we built.
And did you know her at all from? I mean, what was your relationship like with them over there at the house?
neighborly. I mean, we never went over their house, never came over here. You know, we kind of, my husband and I, he's a retired firefighter. We just kind of keep to ourselves, you know. We have grandchildren around, and you know, we have kids, and so we're always doing family things.
Okay.
But
So,
you know, that's my own personal opinion. You can take it for what it's worth, and you can probably talk to the other neighbors too. They left yesterday for Missouri for 3 weeks.
okay.
But they'll tell you the same thing.
Did they think something happened over there? Okay. Now, I got to ask, did you see anything happen that made you think that, or was this just more of a feeling?
I didn't see anything.
Okay.
You know, it probably happened early morning hours.
Okay.
You know?
Did you know
Because I know what was going on, because we didn't go to bed until like 11:30, and I know that it was a few people that were out in the back porch. You could hear them, you know, talking and laughing and whatever. An awful thing and it's an awful thing, because I really felt so bad. You know, I mean, I just knew something bad happened.
Now, you said you think somebody pushed her off the porch. Who do you think?
That's what I had. I mean, I'm just saying this to you.
Uh-huh.
You know, but I feel there was a confrontation and she was pushed.
Okay. Did you know the young lady that passed away, Tamla?
No, I didn't know her. I didn't know any of them. They were all much younger than us, and you know, they're like the soccer mom, you know, kind of group that they had going on there. But
now you said
it's my own gut feeling. Okay, so I mean, you don't have
no,
to
that's
write
fine.
it down.
That's fine.
I'm glad somebody's reopening it.
Right.
Yeah.
It has bothered me and bothered me and bothered me. Really, it bothers me every time I look at that house.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a cop living there now.
Yeah.
Ron.
Can you think of anything?
I didn't even look. Do you have a ring doorbell?
Yeah. Okay. But you know who does? Peggy across the street.
Yeah.
Did Peggy tell you that she has a ring?
No,
Is that Peggy? Not.
Not next door, but next door to her. So not this house right here.
Nobody's home.
But
I rang the doorbell. Nobody's home right now.
Well, we'll get up with
Come
Peggy.
back to her.
yeah, she's got a ring. She sees everything. Yeah.
Okay. Can't think of anything
But I
else.
wish somebody had some proof.
Well, and that's what part of what we're doing is.
I wish somebody, you know, sometimes people's gut feelings are strong, and in this case, something happened. The boyfriend was really weird.
How was he weird?
Well, you know, the husband would come over, the ex-husband would come over, and the boyfriend was just, I don't know, it was just something weird about him. I can't put my finger on it.
Okay. Do you have a telephone number?
249. I'm an old lady.
No.
My oldest son's going to turn 51 this year, and he goes, Mom, do you believe you're 71?
No.
I go, yeah, I'm 71.
That's your prime. That's your prime. Any other questions you have for us, or any?
No, I'm just really happy it's being reopened.
Yeah.
Can I ask, like, what kind of gives you that gut feeling that something happened to her? Was it her or just the boyfriend? I mean, what makes you think that something, just both of them, kind of gave you a odd feeling? Was it anything that happened afterwards that kind of made you feel that way, or has it just been
Well, they would
your interaction with them,
everybody
period?
that was there maybe for a week. Like, my husband says, yeah, they're trying to get all the stories straightened out, you know, together. But I'd say those people were there every single night for maybe 2 weeks after it happened.
And you said you saw her out in the yard, friend?
Yeah.
And it seemed fake to you, is that what you said?
Yeah. Oh, after it happened? Yeah. Yeah.
So that was the morning? Was that the morning? Okay.
Yeah. She was like maybe 15. They were out in the cul-de-sac here. It was probably 15, 20 feet. Oh my God, what was this? How far? And they were, because they had it all roped off.
Yeah.
But, yeah, she just got feeling.
Would your husband have seen anything?
You could talk to him.
Well, if he didn't,
He'll be back. I mean,
I would assume he would have told you if he'd seen something, but would he have seen anything different than you?
he kind of felt the same way I did, you know.
But you didn't see or hear anything that night that...
Everybody was in bed.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Everybody was in bed.
Yeah.
Did you talk to, not this husband, the house next door, but
They weren't home either. I've got the house on, this must be your
right next to
husband.
their porch.
Hey,
How
honey.
you doing?
He didn't want to come out the other door because he would hit you coming out.
How are you, sir? Good,
Yeah,
thank
we got the house on the other side of them. They were home, but nobody else around has been home. So
We were just speaking
about
to.
what happened to that incident.
I can't even see it now.
The November 4th incident with
Oh,
Tamara.
2018, yeah, like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, and I told you, remember I told you I had a gut feeling something happened? Yeah.
Did you see or hear anything that evening?
No, sir, no.
We were in bed.
I just noticed something that morning. I usually go to get coffee in the morning, and I went about 8:30 and it was dead quiet. The cars were in the street, but it was dead quiet.
Okay.
And then when I come back, the police officers were here, so that's about it, yeah.
I just hope they find justice for her. I really do. That's really how I feel.
Well, and that's kind of how we are. No matter what the outcome, we hope that it brings peace somehow, whether we determine
Somebody
yes, it
knows
was an
something.
accident or that it
Someone's
was
not
something,
talking.
and then we'll go from
There was just too many people at that party that it was just...
Well, when we get involved in something, we're gonna
Dig as
cross
deep as we
every bridge we can and dig as deep as we can go. So
as deep as you can go.
we'll leave no stone unturned, as you hear.
We're basically starting all over again from the bottom.
I know you are.
And trying
I
to
know.
work our way back out.
I know.
So.
Yeah, I still feel sad about it every day out at that house. I feel sad, you know. And this one girl, I can't remember her name, but was a friend of mine, and she's pretty sure. She has the same gut feeling that I have, that this wasn't an accident. She didn't fall over that really. She did not fall over it. And I don't know if the marks on her body, are consistent with being pushed, but it's probably definitely a confrontation.
We're definitely looking into it.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know if it involves her or him and her, or if she walked in on something out there.
Okay.
Yeah, something. She was a very attractive woman, and the girlfriend was not. She's just, I don't want to say the word. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to be a nice lady. Not say what I thought of her. But,
Well, we appreciate your time. I don't have any more cards on me. I'll give y'all a card, but if you got one.
Oh,
What's your name, sir? Nick.
Marino. We're legally married.
All right. What's the date of birth for you, Nick?
Somebody knows what happened to Tamla. Somebody knows.
Definitely.
The case was reopened, you guys. This happened in 2018, November the 4th, 2018. She was found dead. They ended up closing the case in February of 2019. They reopened the case in 2020 and closed it again. Nobody was convicted of anything. They didn't get anywhere. But I really think that they had a lot of pull because a lot of them was in good with like politicians and, they had money. So I honestly feel like they're covering it up. And I really hate that, her family and her children, her husband is not going to get justice behind what happened to her because somebody know what happened to her. Somebody heard something. Even if she fell off the balcony, somebody heard something. Somebody knows something for it to be that many people in that house.
And it's too many holes in the case.
Yeah.
Like, as the family, I want to know why the officers didn't perform their job correctly. Like, why didn't y'all take pictures of the scene? Even
with Jose being a officer, he knew how to do CPR. It was a recommendation, a requirement, not a recommendation, a requirement for him to know how to do CPR, but he never performed CPR on her, which is super suspicious as well. Somebody knows something. They know something.
I'm curious to know what you guys think about this one.
Definitely let us know down below what you guys think. We thank you guys for coming back and for watching our videos. We'll definitely see you guys Friday, so be on the lookout for another true crime. If you guys have any true crimes, any stories, or anything that you want us to cover, make sure you leave it down below. Before you leave, if you like this content, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, and we will definitely see y'all in the next one.
Friday. See you.